They threw me a surprise party, but it was a trap to steal my inheritance. I played along, then dropped a truth bomb that left everyone stunned. You won't believe how it ended. The text message from my mother read, "Darling, please come over at 7. We have something special planned." I stared at those words, my stomach knotting with familiar dread. In my 29 years of life, I'd learned that something special from Nina usually meant trouble wrapped in a pretty bow. My name is Valerie, and I'm the family fixer. The one who bailed out my brother's failed business ventures, covered my father's gambling debts, and refinanced my mother's maxed-out credit cards, all while maintaining a successful career in finance that they loved to brag about but secretly resented. I pulled up to their suburban home at 7:05 p.m., fashionably, late enough to irritate my mother, but not enough to trigger one of her episodes. Through the living room window, I caught glimpses of movement and hushed voices. A surprise party. How predictable. Taking a deep breath, I rang the doorbell. The door flipped open, and there stood Nina, perfectly coiffed as always, wearing her favorite "I'm up to something" smile. Surprise. The chorus of voices hit me as I stepped inside. Family members emerged from various hiding spots, all wearing expressions that reminded me of sharks circling their prey. "Oh my goodness," I gasped, practicing the surprised face I'd perfected over years of their schemes. "You shouldn't have. Nothing's too good for my baby girl," Nina cooed, pulling me into a lavender-scented hug that lasted a bit too long. 30 is such a special birthday. "I'm 29, Mom. Details. She waved her hand dismissively. "Edmund, bring Valerie a drink." My father appeared with suspicious speed, holding a glass of what looked like very expensive scotch. "Here you go, princess. Your favorite." I had never liked scotch. He knew that. My brother Jasper stood awkwardly by the fireplace, avoiding eye contact. That's when I noticed it. A legal-looking document placed conspicuously on the coffee table, its corner peeking out from under a magazine. "Come sit." Nina steered me toward the couch. "Everyone's here to celebrate you." I scanned the room. Aunt Margaret, Uncle Pete, cousins I hadn't seen in years, all wearing identical artificial smiles. The only genuine face belonged to my best friend, Reagan, who had apparently been roped into this charade. She caught my eye and raised an eyebrow. "Before we cut the cake," Nina announced, "we thought we'd start with presents, the biggest one first." "Edmund." He moved the magazine, revealing the document underneath. My heart rate quickened, but I maintained my smile. "What's this?" "Oh, just some boring paperwork about Grandma Sophia's inheritance," Nina said too casually. "Nothing to worry about tonight. We'll deal with it later." But I had already caught the title, Inheritance Agreement. "Actually," I said, picking up the document, "maybe we should look at this now since everyone's here." Nina's smile faltered for a microsecond. No, darling. Let's have fun first. Edmund, pour everyone champagne." "Mom, you know I prefer to handle business before pleasure." I started to open the folder, watching her face carefully. "Val," she snapped, then quickly softened her tone. "It's your party. Don't you want to enjoy it?" Jasper suddenly spoke up. "Maybe we should just not now." Nina cut him off sharply. I stood up, document in hand. What exactly am I looking at here? The room grew quiet. Too quiet. Nina and Edmund exchanged glances, and I could practically see the wheels turning in their heads, recalculating their approach. "It's just a formality really," Edmund said smoothly. "Something the lawyers need for Grandma's estate. Nothing urgent." "Then why is it here at my surprise party?" Nina laughed, a high nervous sound. "Why are you being so suspicious, darling? Can't we just celebrate?" I looked around the room at all the faces watching this exchange like a tennis match. My family, the people who should have been my strongest supporters, but instead saw me as their personal ATM. And there, in the corner, Reagan was subtly shaking her head. "Of course, we can celebrate," I said finally, setting the document down, but keeping my hand on it. "But first, I think we should discuss why you really gathered everyone here tonight." The silence that followed was deafening. Nina's perfect smile cracked just enough to show the desperation beneath, and I knew right then that whatever was in this folder would change everything. "Valerie darling," she began, reaching for the document, "let's not make a scene." I pulled it closer to me, heart pounding, but voice steady. "Oh, Mom, I think it's a little late for that." "A toast." Edmund's voice boomed across the room, desperately trying to diffuse the tension. "To my beautiful daughter, who's always been so practical about these things." I watched him raise his glass, noting how his hand trembled slightly. The document sat heavy in my lap as everyone mechanically lifted their drinks. "To Valerie," they echoed, their voices a hollow chorus. Nina swooped in with practiced grace, placing a plate of my supposed favorite cake in front of me, chocolate with buttercream frosting. "I'm allergic to dairy." "Sweetheart," she purred, "why don't we all enjoy ourselves first?" "The paperwork can wait." "Actually," I said, opening the folder, I'm quite interested in reading this now. Jasper suddenly appeared at my side. Sis, maybe Mom's right. Let's just read it out loud, Reagan interrupted from across the room. Since it's just a formality, right? Nina shot her a look that could freeze hell. I cleared my throat and began reading. I, Valerie, hereby voluntarily relinquish all rights to the inheritance left by Sophia Olin. My voice trailed off as I scanned the rest of the page. You want me to sign away my entire inheritance? It's not like that. Edmund jumped in. We're just redistributing it for tax purposes. Tax purposes? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. By giving everything to you and Mom, Aunt Margaret suddenly became very interested in her wine glass. Uncle Pete checked his phone. The cousins shifted uncomfortably. We're family, Nina said, her voice taking on that guilt-inducing tone she had perfected over the years. Everything we have is shared. You know that? Like, when you shared the money I lent you for Jasper's startup, I asked. Or when you shared the truth about Dad's gambling debts? The room grew painfully quiet. That's different, Nina snapped, her mask slipping. We're your parents. We've given you everything. No. I corrected her. You've taken everything, and now you want Grandma's inheritance too. Jasper stepped forward, looking miserable. Val, please just sign it. They won't stop until you do. Is that why you're here, Jasper? To convince me. He couldn't meet my eyes. They said it would be better coming from me. Of course they did. I stood up, still clutching the document. How long have you all been planning this? Waiting for the perfect moment to ambush me. Nobody's ambushing anyone, Edmund protested weakly. We're celebrating your birthday. My birthday is next month. Knox's composure cracked further. Just sign the damn paper, Valerie. Stop being so difficult. Difficult. I laughed, but this time, it came out slightly hysterical. Is that what you call refusing to be manipulated? You ungrateful little Nina caught herself, plastering on another fake smile. Darling, you're making everyone uncomfortable. Good. I turned to address the room. Did all of you know about this? Were you all in on it? The silence was answer enough. Reagan stood up. I didn't know, and this is disgusting. Stay out of this, Reagan, Knox hissed. This is family business. Family? I scoffed. Is that what you call this group of enablers and conspirators? Edmund stepped forward, attempting his fatherly authority voice. Princess, your mother and I have discussed this thoroughly. It's for the best. The best for whom, Dad? His face reddened. That's enough. No, it's not nearly enough. I walked to the fireplace, holding up the document. You want to know what I think about this agreement? Knox's eyes widened. Don't you dare. I held the corner to the flame, watching as it caught fire. I think it can burn in hell. You stupid girl, Knox shrieked, lunging forward. Do you have any idea what you've done? I let the burning paper fall into the fireplace. I know exactly what I've done. I'm done being your personal bank account. There are copies, Edmund threatened weakly. Good, I replied, gathering my purse. Keep them as souvenirs of the day your plan failed. Reagan was already by my side, keys in hand. Let's go. As we headed for the door, Jasper called out. Val, wait, save it. I cut him off. You can tell them about Grandma's video message, the one they don't know about yet. The look of shock on Nina's face was almost worth the entire evening. Almost. What video? She demanded. What is she talking about? I paused at the door, savoring the moment. I guess you'll find out soon enough. Happy early birthday to me. You should have seen Nina's face when you mentioned the video. Reagan laughed, sliding a mug of coffee across her kitchen counter. I thought she was going to explode. It was nearly midnight, and the adrenaline from earlier was finally wearing off. I wrapped my hands around the warm mug, trying to stop them from shaking. I can't believe they actually tried to pull this off, I said. Actually, no. I can totally believe it. So what's on this video that had your mom looking like she'd seen a ghost? I pulled out my phone and opened a file. Grandma Sophia sent this to me through her lawyer 2 days before she passed away. Reagan leaned in closer as I pressed play. My grandmother's face filled the screen. Her silver hair perfectly styled even from her hospital bed. My dearest Valerie. Her familiar voice crackled through the speaker. If you're watching this, I'm already gone. And if I know your mother, which I unfortunately do, she's already trying to get her hands on what I've left you. Holy, Reagan whispered. There's more, I said, turning up the volume. I've watched how they've used you over the years, Grandma Sophia continued. How they've drained you financially and emotionally. Nina was the same with me, always taking, never giving. That's why I've made certain arrangements. The video continued as my grandmother detailed her plans. Reagan's eyes grew wider with each revelation. Your grandmother was a genius, she said when the video ended. An absolute genius. She knew them better than they knew themselves. I took a sip of coffee, but now I need to figure out my next move. My phone buzzed. Another text from Nina. We need to talk about what you said. Call me immediately. Don't, Reagan warned, seeing me stare at the message. You know it's just another trap. Oh, I'm not calling her. I started typing a response. All communication goes through Linda from now on. Linda, the family lawyer. Grandma's lawyer, I corrected, and apparently my new best ally. We're meeting tomorrow morning. Reagan sat back studying me. You're different tonight. Stronger. I'm tired, I said. Tired of being their safety net. Tired of the manipulation. Did you know last month Dad asked me to co-sign a loan for his business venture? Please tell me you didn't. I almost did, but then I found out it was for a poker tournament in Vegas. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was Jasper. They're losing it here. Mom's talking about contesting the will. What video were you talking about? Your brother's reaching out. Reagan peered at my phone. That's new. He's probably just doing their dirty work again. I typed back, tell Mom to save her energy. She might need it. Cryptic. Reagan approved. I like it. Another message popped up, this time from an unknown number. This is Linda. Can we move our meeting to 8 a.m.? Things are escalating faster than expected. See? I showed Reagan the message. Even Linda knows they're going to try something. What do you think they'll do? Knowing Nina, everything and anything. I replied to Linda, confirming the earlier meeting time. She once faked a heart attack to get me to pay for her spa retreat. No way. Called me from the emergency room and everything. Turned out she was at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Reagan shook her head in disbelief. And you're sure about this plan? Once you start, there's no going back. I played the video one more time, listening to my grandmother's final words. Remember, darling, sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is to stop enabling them. You're stronger than you know. Make them see that. I'm sure, I said, closing the video. For once in my life, I'm absolutely sure. My phone lit up with another barrage of messages. Nina, Edmund, even Aunt Margaret trying to play mediator. I silenced them all. You can stay here tonight, Reagan offered. You shouldn't be alone. Thanks, but I need to go home and prepare for tomorrow. I stood up, gathering my things. I have years of financial records to sort through. Before meeting Linda, I told Reagan I needed to do this alone. As I drove home, my grandmother's words echoed. I had been their safety net, but now I had the power to change everything. Jasper texted, warning me to be careful. At Linda's office, she revealed my parents' desperate attempts to contact her. Then she explained my inheritance, a trust with strict conditions, no access for my family. If they contest it, half the money goes to charity. They'll fight, but it's legally ironclad. My phone buzzed. Nina again. I showed it to Linda. Perfect timing, she said. Let's give them a preview. I answered on speaker. Hello, Em. Don't you hello, mommy me? Knox's voice filled the room. Where are you? We need to talk about your behavior last night. I'm with Linda right now. A pause. Put her on the phone. You're on speaker, Linda said calmly. Linda, what nonsense have you been telling my daughter? I demand to see Sophia's full will immediately. Of course, Linda replied. I'm sending it to you today along with a detailed explanation of the trust conditions. Trust conditions. Knox's voice rose an octave. What trust conditions? The ones Grandma Sophia put in place, I said. The ones that make it impossible for you or Dad to ever touch this money. That's ridiculous. I'm her mother. I have rights. Actually, Linda interjected. You don't. And any attempt to contest these conditions will result in an automatic charitable donation of 50% of the inheritance. The silence on the other end was deafening. Mom? I prompted. This is your grandmother's revenge, isn't it? Knox's voice turned cold. She always was a spiteful old woman. No, Mom. This is her protection for me. Protection? She laughed bitterly. From what? Your own family. From exactly this reaction, I said. Check your email in an hour. Everything will be explained in the letter. Valerie, don't you dare. I ended the call. Well, Linda said, that went about as expected. What happens now? Now we wait for them to receive the letter. Then she handed me a USB drive. This contains everything else your grandmother wanted you to have. Financial records, personal messages, evidence of past loans, and manipulations. Evidence? Sophia kept detailed records of every time they took advantage of you. Every loan, every guilt trip, every scheme. Linda's eyes met mine. She wanted you to have proof in case you ever doubted yourself. I clutched the USB drive, feeling its weight in my palm. She really did think of everything. She did. Linda stood up. Are you ready for what comes next? Because once they get that letter, I'm ready. I said, standing too. For the first time in my life, I'm actually ready. 3 days after Linda sent the letter, Nina showed up at my office. I watched through the glass walls as she charmed her way past reception, wearing her most expensive suit and carrying what looked like lunch from my curb restaurant. Darling, she breathed before I could stop her. I brought your favorite, That mushroom risotto you love. I'm allergic to mushrooms, Mom. Always have been. She waved dismissively, setting the bag down. Oh, is that right? Well, no matter. We need to talk. Everything that needs to be said was in Linda's letter. About that, Knock perched herself on the edge of my desk. Your father and I have been thinking. Perhaps we all overreacted. I kept typing on my keyboard, not looking up. Did you now? We understand you're upset. We could have handled things better at the party. She reached out to touch my hand, but I pulled away. But surely, we can find a compromise. There is no compromise. The terms are clear. Terms can be changed. Wills can be interpreted. Finally, I looked at her. Any attempt to challenge the terms results in half the inheritance going to charity. Is that clear enough for you? Don't be difficult, Valerie. Her voice took on that familiar edge. We're your parents. Everything we've done has been for you. My phone buzzed a text from Jasper. Mom's there, isn't she? Dad sent her. Really? I held up my phone, showing her years of bank transfers. Was it for me when you took out credit cards in my name or when you guilted me into paying for Jasper's failed restaurants? Family helps family, she said stiffly. Is that what you call it? I pulled up more records. Like, when you told me Dad needed surgery money, but it actually went to his bookie. Her face hardened. You've been keeping tabs on us. No. Grandma Sophia did. She kept every receipt, every bank statement, every desperate voicemail you left me asking for money. That interfering old, she caught herself. Your grandmother didn't understand our family dynamic. Our family dynamic? I laughed. You mean where I'm the ATM, and you're the perpetual withdrawer? Nina stood up, smoothing her skirt. I can see you're not in a reasonable mood today. But think about this carefully, darling. Do you really want to destroy our family over money? You already did that, Mom, years ago. Don't be dramatic. She pulled out an envelope from her purse. Your father had our lawyer draw up a new agreement, something that benefits everyone. I didn't touch the envelope. Did you not understand the letter? Any attempt to circumvent Grandma's wishes triggers the charity clause unless you voluntarily agree to share. She smiled triumphantly. We found a loophole. There are no loopholes. I pressed the intercom. Security, please escort someone out. You ungrateful little. She caught herself as two security guards appeared. Valerie, think about what you're doing. I have. For years, I turned back to my computer. Goodbye, Mom. This isn't over. She called as the guards let her out. Your father will be in touch. My phone buzzed again. Jasper, how bad was it? I typed back. She brought mushroom risotto. Ouch. You're allergic to mushrooms. Exactly. Another text came through, this time from Edmund. Princess, let's discuss this over dinner tonight. Her choice of restaurant. I showed the text to Reagan, who'd been quietly watching from the corner of my office. They're not giving up, are they? She asked. No. But they're getting desperate. I forwarded Edmund's text to Linda, which means they'll make mistakes. What's your next move? I pulled up my calendar. Dad wants dinner? Fine. But it'll be on my terms. We're actually going. Yes, I said, typing a response to Edmund. Because he needs to see I'm not that scared little girl anymore because Linda and I have something planned. Kind of something. I smiled, remembering the USB drive's contents. Let's just say Grandma Sophia left me more than just money. She left me the truth about everything they've done. And tomorrow night, Dad's going to get a preview. Be careful, Reagan warned. Cornered animals are the most dangerous. I know. I looked at the family photo on my desk taken years ago before I understood what they were, but I'm done being careful. It's time to be brave. Edmund agreed to dinner, expecting a smooth talk. But I had other plans. I chose the Capitol Grill, setting up early with Linda's documents. He arrived at 7 p.m., all charm, but his confidence faded when I pulled up records, his bookie payments, Jasper's missed loans, and fraud in my name. He tried to negotiate, but I revealed a secret weapon, a hidden life insurance policy on me. His face drained. Save it, I said. You and Mom will stop trying to fight Grandma's conditions. No more surprise visits. No more legal loopholes. No more guilt trips or what? My father sneered. All these documents go to the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. I met his eyes. Linda's already prepared the package. He sat back, deflated. You do that to your own father. You did this to yourself, Dad. You and Mom both. The waiter returned to take our order, but Edmund waved him away. I've lost my appetite, he muttered. That's fine. I have dinner plans with Reagan anyway. I started packing up my things. Oh, and one more thing. I'm donating 20% of the inheritance to gambling addiction programs. Consider it your contribution to society. Nina will never accept this. Nina doesn't have a choice. I stood up. Neither do you. As I turned to leave, he called out, "We're still your parents." I looked back at him, seeing not the intimidating figure of my childhood, but a desperate man who had lost his last play. Yes, you are, I said softly. That's what makes this so sad. Walking out of the restaurant, I texted Linda. It's done. Dad knows. Her reply came quickly. Nina's already called twice. Are you ready for tomorrow? I thought about the final phase of our plan. The family meeting where everything would come to a head. Ready as I'll ever be. I typed back. Is the video set up? Prepared. Everything's in place. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., they'll all learn exactly what Sophia had planned. I got into my car, catching a glimpse of Edmund still sitting in the restaurant, staring into his empty scotch glass. See you tomorrow, I texted Linda. Time to end this once and for all. Linda's conference room felt smaller with my entire family crammed inside. Nina sat rigidly at one end of the table. Edmund slumped beside her, still nursing a hangover from last night. Jasper had chosen a seat halfway between them and me, like he couldn't decide whose side to take. Let's begin, Linda said, closing the door. We're here to discuss the final terms of Sophia's inheritance. We're here, Nina interrupted, because my daughter has lost her mind. Actually, I said, pressing a button on the remote control. We're here to watch something. The lights dimmed, and Grandma Sophia's face appeared on the wall screen larger than life. If you're watching this, she began, it means my family has done exactly what I expected them to do. Nina stood up. I don't have to listen to this. Sit down, Linda commanded. The 50% charity clause activates immediately. My mother sank back into her chair, fuming. Nina, Sophia's recording continued. My disappointing daughter. I've watched you manipulate and exploit your own child the same way you tried to exploit me. Did you think I didn't know about the credit cards, the fake emergencies, the endless demands for money? Edmund reached for Nina's hand, but she pulled away. And, Edmund, Sophia's voice hardened, enabling your wife's schemes while adding your own, gambling away your daughter's generosity, lying about medical emergencies, treating her like your personal bank. This is slander, Edmund muttered. Every word I'm saying is documented. Sophia continued as if anticipating his response.